So let's do that. So we have a phenomenal woman, a phenomenal individual, phenomenal person who has just stepped up and stepped out. I mean, who is definitely just leading by example, who is already having impact, who is definitely taking the flag and say, you know what? BYOB is a worldwide movement, and I'm going to accept that challenge, and I'm going to take charge on the other side of the waters. Was a clinical dietitian by trade. But when I tell you, let's talk about faith. Let's talk about stepping out and making sure that you're walking, right? Let's talk about stepping out and making sure that you're walking in excellence, right? You're walking with a changed heart because you want to serve, you want to help people. Well, guess what? She walked off that job and said, you know what? This is what I'm going to do full time. This is what I'm going to be, and I'm going to position myself to have impact to where not only do my husband and I and my personal family or my close friends understand their skill set, I want to make sure that impact is happening globally. And so, you know, I'm just honored, and it's a pleasure to turn this call over where we can focus on our profit call. Yes, our profit call coming to us this morning on our BYOB profit call, all the way from the United Kingdom. I want to turn this call over to Miss Avoline Graham. Miss Graham, are you on the line?
I am. This is Avoline Graham, the queen of the charts, and I would like to welcome each of you to the BYOB profit call. For me, it's a great day. Just seeing that you all have joined this live market analysis, our profit call, today that makes it a great day for me. And thank you, Miss Tasha M. Dyer, the phenomenal woman who is my mentor and my coach. Thank you so much for giving me such a lovely and warm welcome this morning. So ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I would just like to acknowledge that I have seen the drop-ins in the chat and where you have been calling from. Thank you very much. It's always good to know who is on the call. And so I'd like to welcome you all to this profit call. So let me go ahead and let you know what BYOB stands for. Be your own bank. And let me quickly add that I'm part of the Be Your Own Bank movement, which is the largest economic empowering movement in the history of mankind. Yes, Ms. Dye just mentioned 2 million families to be financially educated and impacted by March 2022. Yes, we are already having global impact. And so if this is your first time on the call, would you go ahead and drop a 111 in the chat, just so I can know who is on the call? A 111 in the chat. If you are already mastering this skill set or getting yourselves familiar with this skill set, drop a 222. And I can already see 777s being put in the affirmations, but I'd also like you to go ahead. If you are a 777 cashing out already, go ahead and let me see you. And for those who have got the courage to take that plunge to start the new year with elevation and acceleration, go ahead and drop in the chat an 888. I can see you all. I can see you all. I am so thankful that we have courageous people who are ready to accept the challenge to be their own bank and also to start enjoying the fruits of your labor from the skill set that you would have been learning. So thank you very much. We look forward to a year and of new beginnings. And so at this time, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome. We will get this call started in just a moment. And now we will look at our call schedule so you can understand our call schedule and how it works, especially for those who are new to the call this morning. So it's Mondays to Thursdays, we are live in the market for our profit call. Yes, Mondays to Thursdays at 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so at 5 a.m., which is this time, we have our live market analysis. This is geared towards Forex. And at 9 a.m., that's tailored towards the indices. We have market talks in the evenings. Tuesday nights, we begin at 9 p.m. with our BYOB basics. And that's followed by a talk with the finance doctor. On Wednesday, we have something new in store. We have our HFX basics, and that will be followed by our live HFX trading. Yes, you heard me. And then on Thursday, we have our advanced training. That's BYOB market talks. I'm highlighting this because you will have an idea what the week looks like ahead. So you can see there is much training opportunities for you all. All I need you to do is plug in and take advantage of this. I want to see you all walking in excellence and your success. Ms. Dyer spoke about me walking in faith. I would love to see a few others walking in faith as well, walking in excellence, walking in your success. I also would like you to plug in and plug in and plug in on these calls because we have amazing educators. And I'll say that again, amazing educators. That's why I need everyone to plug in. More education is powerful. I'm speaking to people who know that. Education is powerful. And so an educated trader is a profitable trader. And that's why I can say with ease that you can look forward to a money-making Monday. You know, we also can say a mixed market Monday, but today we can expect either of the two, a money-making or a mixed market Monday. So once again, welcome, welcome, and good morning to all. And as you know, we do first things first. We are going to be looking at the news. So I'll go ahead and I will share my screen because first things first, we have to start on the right footing. To make this a money-making Monday, we have to start on the right footing. Now I am hoping that you all can see my screen. It's set up already for you with the news. Just to mention, we look at 3 news sources: economic, calendar, that's where you go. My FX book, that's one of the news sources that we use. Also FX Street, and we use the Forex Factory as well. If you are new to this call, you dropped a 111 in the chat, please note that this is where we go to for our news sources. So as you can see, we check our date, the 10th of January. Make sure you get the date right. And then we move along to see what news we have coming out. So at 4 a.m. this morning, we had a red folder for Euro. So we've got news already come out on that pair, Euro, on that currency. We've had another red folder as well for 5 a.m., which has just gone past, 12 minutes past 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we would expect that news release should have come out for Euro. I'm just checking to see if there's any more. No, there is no more red folders. I'll just highlight in a moment while we look at our red folders. We're moving to FX Street. Let's see if we have any red folders there. So Monday, the 10th of January, we haven't got any red folders on here. And let's move to Forex Factory. No red folders this morning. I'm sure most of you would have known that with NFP on Friday, this somewhat explains why we haven't got much red folders today. So things have slowed down a bit because NFP was on Friday. And so we know that the news that we had for today, they are now out. Well, I'm not sure if there's effects of the euro news as yet. So just to make a note, please, if you're new to the call, and if you're a 111, or even if you're a 222 and you're still mastering the skill set, make a note that we trade when the news has taken effect. Not just because the news has come out, but we trade when the news has taken effect. And so we want you to know that as traders, we do not run away from the red folders. Why? Because when we see red folders, it means that we get more liquidity push in the market, which actually goes in our favor. And so before I move along, here's a gentle reminder. Fundamentals is what the main thing that moves our market. So bear that in mind. News, fundamentals is what moves the market. Your technical analysis will help you to identify when a currency pair is buying or selling, but it's the fundamentals that move the market. So bear that in mind. And now, I know you're all here because you want to be looking at trading in the market. So without any further ado, let me just remind you, and for those who are just logging on, this is our live market analysis. This is our profit call. So welcome if you're just joining us. We start the week off. We just click on the harmonic scanner here, but we start the week off with the basics. This means that we will focus on the lower time frames. It also means that we will focus on getting 10 pips and cash out. The BYOB cash out strategy is the foundation. It is the foundation. And my aim is to help you understand the BYOB cash out strategy in its simplicity. And when I say simplicity, I mean simple, easy to follow. So now the profit call at 9 a.m. gives you a little bit more than what we will give you at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time call is the advanced call. This is where you get to look at the bigger picture of the market. This call is also tailored towards those of you who love the indices. Absolutely. Well, as you know, today is Monday, and we know this to be our money-making Monday or mixed market Monday. And so let me go right ahead and look at our harmonic scanner. If you can see my screen, let me see a 555 in the chat. That also tells me that you're awake and you are with me. Drop a 555 in the chat. I can see you. I can see you all. I can see you. Thank you. Thank you. And so we are going to find a trade this morning. We're going to be looking for a trade now, which comes on the harmonic scanner, and it also will appear on our vibrator. So as I said earlier, we are focusing on the 15-minute chart. You can see I'm on the 15-minute chart on the harmonics. And the trade that I have here with me is Euro AUD. For those who are new, it's the Euro and Australian dollar here. That's the currency pair that we're looking at. I'm going to now shift to the vibrator. But before I do, the reason why I'm here is because this tool, the harmonic scanner, this tool is a tool that we use, and I want you all to get familiar with this tool that we use. The reason why I'm pointing it out is that we are trading on the lower time frames. You know, when Miss Dye would do her calls, she would go on to the 1 hour for the harmonic scanner. You see, I'm on the 15-minute. Can you see that? I'm on the 15-minute chart. And the reason why it helps for me to be on the harmonic scanner and then move to the vibrator is that it takes these two tools to help a trade play out. So just taking the trade from the harmonics is not enough. We need to move to the vibrator to analyze there as well. because that way we will get better results. So on the harmonics, we cannot just rely on the results from that. We have to then move to the vibrata. So hopefully that's all clear. So I'm starting at the harmonics this morning. You can see we have some prices. We have TP1, we have TP2, and we have TP3. Well, just to break that down for you, the harmonics kind of gives us three prices, which are referred to as TP1, take profit 1, take profit 2, and take profit 3. Just to be clear, they're not giving you actual take profits. So be careful not to use them as take profits. Be careful not to take them as take profits. But what we will do, we will use those prices and we will plug them into the vibrata when we move to the vibrata in a moment. Because as I said, we are trading on the lower time frames and the harmonic pattern for the 15 minutes doesn't always play out. And that's why we have to bring it back to the vibrata for the other analysis. That way, with both these tools, it can help us to see a potential for a trade. So I don't know how many of you love this vibrata, this premier tool. I'm not sure how many of you do, but I wake up every morning and I get excited when I come to this tool in the mornings. And if you are excited to use this tool, it gives a spark of excitement. Let's put a 555 once again in the chat, and you will know in a moment why I do that. So we have a reason to be thankful. We have a reason to show gratitude to our mastermind team. We salute our mastermind team at this time for allowing us access to the BYOB cash out strategy and the tools that they are willing, and I say willing, to share with us all. So being part of the BYOB Academy puts us in a very privileged position. So thank you, Mr. Gerald D. Rogers, our visionary. Thank you, Dr. Craig Bygewood, our finance doctor. And thank you, Ms. Tasha M. Dyer, the phenomenal woman who is the creator of the BYOB cash out strategy. And what's also good for you to know today is that this phenomenal strategy is housed in the vibrata and it's also copywritten. Isn't that good to know? And now I would like you to take this opportunity to get acquainted with this premier tool, the vibrata. So let me introduce you to it. If you're new, once again, I take the time out to introduce you to our vibrata. Now, the old name is the web analyzer. The old name is the web analyzer. So just make a note of that as well. And so this morning, help me recognize that this is a tool that is comparable to what the big banks of the world uses. Hot mic, hot mic, hot mic, hot mic, hot mic. So thank you. Just to maintain the integrity of the call, thank you. So we are here, we're looking at the vibrata, and this is where our triggers, we can see our triggers. This is where we can see our triggers. Now you can see that red bar. And this actually tells us that it's called for a potential sell. This red bar tells us that this trade is called for a potential sell. We also have a green bar. Fortunately, there's one here. It tells you that this trade is called for a potential buy. So it helps us to identify the direction of the trade. Okay, now we know now that it's a trigger. We know we can identify it by the red bar and the green bar. Another thing to make a note of as well is that it gives you the time that the trade has been called at. It also tells you the time that has passed since the trade has been called. And that is getting you familiar with the vibrata. We also have the currency pair at the top. Always make sure you're on the right currency pair. You don't have the wrong one up. And on top, we have the time frames that I use at 5 a.m. in the mornings It's for our basics call. 5-minute time frame, we have the 15-minute time frame, and of course we have our 1-hour time frame. Also, something to bear in mind is that our prices are at the right-hand side. You can see the prices at the right-hand side. And below, if you see me hovering at the bottom there, you can see the date at the bottom and the time. So it gives you a feel of what that is, the time and the date. So you can see on here. Again, at the bottom, if you need to know which strategy you should be using, it's the BYOB cash out. So you pick your strategy. If you're new and you haven't yet used the vibrator, this is where you pick your strategy. And this at the bottom tells you the sessions that are opened. You can see that the clock tower here in the UK is actually highlighted in yellow. That's because this is the only session that's opened at this time of the morning. The others are faded out, so that tells you that these sessions are closed. They're not yet opened up. So just bear that in mind. And so I will move on. We are looking for an opportunity to trade. What I have gone ahead and done here is I've taken off the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and the day of my triggers for the time that it's triggered, because we are focusing, I said, on the basics. So I'm only keeping the 5-minute trigger on and the 15-minute trigger on. And so we have gotten a little introduction here to what the vibrator is. So we went to the harmonic scanner and we did identify a trade, which was Euro AUD. So let's see if we can pick up our Euro AUD on the trigger. Here it is. I am now going to click on Euro AUD. It was called on the 5-minute chart. I will now click on it. Okay. So we can see we are on Euro AUD and it was called on the 5-minute chart. And now what I will do, again, first things first, I need to show you the price at which it was called at. So I need to highlight the price that it was called at. So I go here and I click on horizontal line. And to do that, I will just go to settings and I'm going to now enter my price in here. So if you're following me, you can see it was called at 1.57561. There you go. So that's the price that it was called at. And now that we have identified the price it was called at, we would like to now go to the harmonic scanner to see what prices we got from the harmonic scanner. So it was called for a sell, Euro AUD was called for a sell. So let's see on the harmonic scanner what it was called for. Okay, so you can see Euro AUD was called for a buy on the harmonic scanner. Now, just so I can clarify, if you all can remember, the harmonic scanner calls trades or identifies a pattern in the reversal. It identifies a pattern in the reversal. So you can see that we have a trade that's called on the vibrator for a sell, and on the harmonics, it's called for a buy. So please remember that the harmonic scanner, it actually identifies a pattern in a reversal. That's what it does. And why you would have probably seen that it's called in two different directions. One in a buy, which is on the harmonic scanner pattern for a buy, and one in the sell. It means that it's addressing a significant level. So we'll see how the market is going to play out. Okay, so pretty much it is actually addressing a significant level. So we'll see how the market is going to play out. So I'm going to take these prices back to the vibrator at this time. So our first take profit that we have here for the Euro AUD is 1.5780746. We will take that back now to the vibrator, and we will now place that price on the vibrator. So we get our line, and we are going to draw our line. It's called for a buy on the harmonics. So we're going to place our price here. So if you remembered earlier, I did say it's not an actual take profit. They are prices, just giving us a guidance, but they are prices. So here we go. We have 1.5780746. And that's our first one that we have here. And secondly, we have, well, we analyze on the 15 minutes. I'll take it to the 15 minutes now. And the next price we have is 1.58. So yes, we have 1.58 for our second take profit. 085206. Okay, I think I'll just need to redo that one. Okay, 85206. All right, here we go. So that's our second price, which is referred to as take profit 2. And our third one, which is the last that we have on there, is the third price. And the third price is 1.58531. So we have all our prices highlighted. And again, I mentioned that we put our lines in because these are usually significant support and resistance lines. The ones I have drawn here, they're significant support and resistance lines. Just bear that in mind. I know the vibrator called it for a sell, but yes, we are aware that sometimes with the harmonic scanner and the vibrator, they can be called in two different directions. And so the reason for that is it's with the harmonic scanner, it's addressing a significant level. So we'll see how the market is going to play out. So who is ready for us to analyze our trade this morning? Who is ready for us to analyze our trade this morning? Well, we will go ahead and we are going to analyze our trade. Now, like I said earlier, the BYOB cash out strategy is a simple one to follow. It's a very simple one to follow. And so thank you for responding. I see a few people that are ready. I am too. And now we will be looking at the BYOB cash out strategy. Now, I said it's simple. 1, 2, 3. Those are the 3 steps. So if you remember when we were children and we started to count, we started at 1, then we went to 2, and then we went to 3. The order is much the same for the BYOB cash out strategy. It is much the same for the BYOB cash out strategy. So we default our eyes to 1. Can you see our stochastic at the bottom? This is an indicator. This is a leading indicator, a leading indicator. This is where we should default our eyes to because we label it as our first step. It is leading because it is a momentum indicator. It's leading. And this is where our eyes need to default to first before we move to the other step. So for a sell, you know, this potential sell on Euro AUD for a sell, we actually use the BYOB cash out strategy for this. And first things first, our stochastic is what we look at first. So you see the blue line is below the red line, and it should be around or above the 80 marker. You would have noticed that for this indicator, you can see some numbers running to the side. So it's between 0 to 100. However, we focus on the 80 when we're doing a sell. We focus on the 80 marker when we're doing a sell. And so as you can see, this started already to sell. The fact that we're on the 15 minutes, 3 things need to align. So we mentioned we have the stochastic. The blue line would need to be below the red line. And as you can see with the last candle here, the blue line is still below the red line. Second step is the candle. You need to see a red candle with a flat top, because the 15-minute chart is your foundational chart. It is the chart that you analyze on. So you must see a flat top red candle. On top of that, you need to see a little dot, which we refer to as our PSAR. Any questions, comments, or testimonies? I just need to make sure you're all following. That's why we're doing the BYOB cash out strategy, just because we know you need to know this strategy for yourself. Thank you very much for responding. So yes, the first thing we look at is our stochastic. As you see, this is a live trade. The last candle that is formed is a red with a flat top, and the PSAR is on top. Now, I mentioned the stochastic was a leading indicator. Both of these indicators are lagging indicators, So now we've done our 1, 2, 3. We need to now move to the bigger time frame, the 1 hour time frame for confluence. So we can see we are already on this chart, but we need to move to the 1 hour for confluence. How do we do that? We click on the 1 hour here. And on the 1 hour, we need to still see the blue line needs to be below the red line. Have you noticed I started at number 1? Number one means we start there first, because the stochastic is our leading indicator. So the blue line needs to be below the red. I am not seeing that. Anyone seen the blue below the red here? I'm definitely not seeing that. So the blue is not yet below the red line. So that's telling me that we have to wait on this to happen first. The blue needs to be below the red. One thing that is going in our favor so far, or should I say 2 things? We have a red candle. Can you see that red candle? We have a red candle. And on top of that, it's a flat top. Now, a lot of the times you will not get a flat top red candle, and that's fine, as long as it's a red candle. We also have a PSAR on top, which is a good thing for us. So this is basically saying to us, give it a little time, put it on your watch list. And once this is already lined up here for you, and again, the only thing we're waiting for on this is our stochastic, because the blue line is still above the red line. Otherwise, our candle is red and we have a PSAR above. And the PSAR again is just for additional confirmation, but if it weren't there, you could still get into the trade. Okay, so yes, it's quite a lovely trade set up for you this morning. And we move now to our 5 minutes. Well, we know that we are not ready on the 1 hour, but I'm just taking you for just a bit of education for the 5 minute. This is where we enter our trade. Now, what's this telling you? The stochastic again is where we default our eyes to. The blue line is below the red line. So on the 5 minutes, it's actually looking good. It's looking beautiful. The blue line is below the red line. We also have a red candle, and it doesn't even have to be a flat top, but this one is a flat top. And on top of that, we have a PSAR on top. Again, we don't necessarily need the PSAR on top on the 5 minute time frame. Now, the 5 minute time frame is where we enter a trade. This is where we enter a trade. And this is a good lineup. We have the blue below the red, a flat top red candle, and the peace hour on top. So this is great. So we can put this on our watch list and wait to see it turn from being beautiful into bluetiful. From beautiful to bluetiful. So again, the 1 hour is not quite ready yet with the stochastic. So just give it a little time, put it on your watch list, and that's a trade that you could have for a nice setup. So you can wait for that to happen. Now, something I just needed to point out as well is that if you're on the 5-minute chart and you see, can you remember when we drew this horizontal line for the call price here? On the 5-minute when it was triggered for a sell, you notice that I had the call price right here. Now, whenever you're in a trade and you're looking for a valid trade, once it breaks this horizontal line, which is your call price, because what do you think your call price line, this call price is? It's actually the last significant support line here. It is the last significant and support line here. So if it breaks it, it's telling you that it's a valid trade that you can get into and get your 10 pips and cash out. And that's what we focus on, is seeing you cashing out, getting your 10 pips and cash out. So that's why we have our line here. It's because we want you to get into a good habit of drawing your line here for the call price. And whenever it breaks it, you can safely get in for your 10 pips and cash out. Any questions, comments, or testimonies? Seems to be that everyone is enjoying the session so far. Okay, good, good. And so you can see you have a trade already that you can put on your watch list for this morning. And we can also look at moving on to having a look at another trade. Now, we can see the BYOB cash out strategy played out here quite nicely. Quite nicely, it's been played out. And so we can look at another trade to see if we can find a lovely setup this morning. So let me first go to the harmonic scanner and find another trade. See if we can find another trade. Okay, so the harmonic pattern has identified. Okay, so the Euro CAD is the next trade that we would like to look at. Okay, so just let me quickly respond to iPad. Could you repeat significant support line again? What this actually does is identifies the rejections where a trade, when it's moving in a buy or a sell and it gets to a particular price and it gets rejected there. So that is what I mean by significant support line. Hopefully that brings clarity to that question. So we're looking at another trade and this will be our Euro CAD. Right, so we are now on the harmonic scanner once again because we can see that there's another setup for another trade that's called on the harmonic scanner, or the pattern that a harmonic scanner has identified. And so we are now going to go back to the vibrator and hopefully it's going to be on the vibrator as well. Yes, I can see a Euro CAD here. So I'm going to click on Euro CAD. So we have a Euro CAD trade here. It was called on the 5 minutes for a sell. And can you remember what it was called for on the harmonics for? The pattern identified it for a buy. And hopefully you can remember why, what we mentioned earlier. Yes, they can be called in two different directions. And the reason for that is, or what that means, is that it's addressing a significant level. So we'll see how the market is going to play out. So it simply means that we are going to look at this trade. So let's move now to the vibrator, and we're going to draw our call price line. We are going to identify where this call price is for Euro CAD. So we have here, we are going to draw our line. Let me just take you to the 15-minute chart. Let's draw a line. We have to just focus on what time frame we're going to analyze. Okay, so our 15-minute chart. So I'm just getting the horizontal line out for you. Let's see what our call price is. So our call price for Euro CAD is 1.43188. I'm really pleased that I can see some great response. I do appreciate it a lot. Thank you. So we are going to now look at the call price. On this, we have our call price. And if you remember, we talked about our call price is, what is it? It's our last significant support and resistance area. That's what it is, our last significant support and resistance. And that's why we put it in. Now we're going to go to our harmonic scanner again and just have a quick look at the prices that are there for our Euro CAD. Okay, so we have our first take profit as 1.4331906. Our second take profit is 1.43482566. And our third take profit is 1.43745. Now we're going to bring that back to the vibrator, and we are going to be putting those values in, that price. We're going to be putting our price in. So here we go. 1.43. So we are at 1.4331906. There we are. I wasn't far off, actually. I'm quite pleased about that. Not far off at all. And our next support and resistance line is going to be at 1.43. Let's put that in. 1.43482566. Okay, I know we have one more to go. One more to go. Let's get it in. Again, it identifies another support and resistance line for us. And we love to have those lines because it prevents us from getting into problems. If it doesn't break the lines when we're trading, then it means we should not be getting into those trades. Can you remember Miss Di talking about getting into trades before it breaks the level? I remember. Can you remember? I hope so. Okay. And so now I will respond to that question, how do we get access to the harmonic scanner, in just a moment. So you can see here, we have our significant and support levels here, support and resistance levels. And now we are going to now analyze. Let's see what this trade holds in store for us. The harmonic scanner is a tool that you get when you are with the BYOB Academy. So once you've enrolled, you have access to the harmonic scanner, and that helps you with your trading. So again, we are going to analyze another trade. It's not a buy, it's a sell, because it's been called for a sell on the vibrator. So we have got our support and resistance lines going up because, of course, it's addressing, the harmonic scanner is addressing the significant levels here. But now we are looking at this trade that was called for a sell. If you can remember, we need to default our eyes to the stochastic first. Remember, stochastic first. Now, if it's a sell, the blue line needs to be below the red line. And from what I can see here, it is not below, it's above. So number one is, that's not the starting point we were hoping for. So clearly this trade is not yet ready. And again, you can see that we're in a somewhat of a pullback here. So we're now seeing a green candle. So basically, this trade was called a while ago. So it's just actually in a pullback. And just let me mention, when trades are called on the vibrata, the triggers, they are usually called in a correction. So I just thought it would be good to remind you that when a trade is called on the vibrata, the trigger, it's called in a correction. And it means that if, say, the trade was called for a sell, when you go to the time frame, which would be the 5 minutes, you should see an actual pullback. You should see the price going in the opposite direction. So for example, if it was called for a sell, the price should show that it's buying. So it's going in the opposite direction. And then you wait for the correction to be over. And again, you need to make sure you actually break this significant support and resistance line, which is the call price, in order to get into that trade. So just remember that. Should have said it maybe a bit earlier, but it's fine. You just need to remember whenever a trade is called, the triggers actually call them in a correction. So again, you can see my blue is still above my red. I'm getting a green candle, so we're not going to be looking at that one. And again, the PSAR needs to be on top, and it is on top, but unfortunately, this trade is not ready yet. The blue line would need to be below the red line. We should have a red candle. Again, PSAR is in the right direction, but with the PSAR alone, we cannot take that trade, okay? But if you're looking for a trade for your watch list, let's just check the 1 hour out, just for that, because you know our 1 hour gives us direction. So I love this. The 1 hour is actually telling us that the direction is good for us. You see that? The 1 hour is good for us. It's very good because the blue line, because you know we default to the stochastic first. So our blue line is just gone below our red line. Can you see the red candle? Again, that is another tick for us, red candle. And on top of that, it's a flat top as well, even better. And PSAR is above. Wow. We're looking good on the 1 hour. I guess you know it's a trade you can put on the watch list. 15 minutes needs to line up. And then when you go to 5 minutes, it should be lined up as well. You can see it is not yet lining up on the 5 minute. Hardly any surprises there because 15 minutes is not ready either. Okay, so we have looked at 2 trades that we pulled from the vibrata, and you can see that we looked at the harmonic scanner as well. We were able to put them together. They may have been called in 2 different directions, but the explanation that I gave to you earlier is that with the harmonic scanner, it identifies reversal patterns at significant support and resistance. And what it means when they're going in 2 different directions is that it just means the harmonic scanner is addressing a significant level. So we'll see how the market is going to play this out. And so have we got any questions, comments, or testimonies? We're coming up to 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and we are looking to close out this call. Any questions, any comments, any testimonies? Any, according to Miss Dyer. Any. Okay, if there are no more questions okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you all for the kind words. Thank you. Thank you very much. I do appreciate those kind words. So at this time, I would like to thank everyone for joining our profit call this morning. Thank you all. And this officially ends this call.